Hi there. I'm going to do another soulmate reading today, and this is, I think, maybe the third or fourth anyway. And as I said before, it's kind of an exploration of soulmates more than it is an actual reading, in that, I'm just asking the universe to let me and us know any information or any clarity, or I have no idea, about about soulmates and the existence of soulmates. And yeah, so I'm going to be using the Wisdom of Avalon and the Llewellyn deck of cards. And yeah, let's see what we get here. So I think I'm going to use, this time I'm going to use the Wisdom of Avalon for the layout, and then clarify with the Llewellyn deck if it needs clarification. Okay, it's kind of fun. I've been doing, I'm really enjoying doing this because I'm learning a lot, and I hope you are too. Actually, I think I'm going to do 4 for some reason. Just didn't feel right and complete somehow. Okay, here we go. Let's see what it's telling us today. Yeah. So as I said, I'll be doing these once a week, or I am doing these once a week on my channel, the Sarasam channel. And I'm also doing a prosperity reading. It's kind of the same thing. We're asking the universe about prosperity. I also do, weekly readings on each astrological sign. And once a week I also do love readings, okay, on the elements. So here we go. Okay, so we got trust. Okay, so I'm going to draw some cards on that. So that looks like that's the kind of really important key to what it's telling us today, because I've drawn the Ace of Pentacles. So kind of that builds the foundation for soulmate existence, for soulmate connection, for possibly even, what's being offered to us at that point in time is the kind of, I always think of the aces as a bit of a catalyst or a bit of an impetus to move us into something. So if I was looking at it that way, I'm thinking that maybe the Ace of Pentacles is it's the impetus moving us into the knowledge of trust. So really understanding through our soulmates the true meaning of trust. Okay, so then we've got burden, and I've got the Empress. So burden is usually like when it's time to kind of unload what you're full of or what you're carrying, or that kind of thing, and be able to put it somewhere. And that's the same with the Empress, because the Empress card refers to almost like a gestation period that has come to an end, and now it's time to give birth. So they're sort of similar that way. And with the so they both represent growth, but maybe in different ways, because one is kind of wands and the other one is, I always think of it more as cups, the Empress, because it's a divine feminine energy. So I can kind of see in both places. So we have to be like really grown to the place where we've completed a certain level, and then take that amount of ascendance or evolution, I guess, with us into this, when it's time for soulmate connection to happen, and then kind of fertilize it with our creativity and our love and our connection to spirit. So I think what I'm getting from this is that it comes when we're connected with spirit, and we're really ready to manifest that here. Then we've got the Horse, and that is accepting help from another and delegating authority. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a card on that and see what we get. So we get the High Priestess. So I think this is accepting help from another and delegating authority, is that connection with God, or that connection with the universe itself, in terms of delegating authority. So this is not just about us. I believe that it's and that's what our intuition, which the High Priestess is. So our intuition is kind of working together with the universe, and that is the delegation here that's bringing this together. Okay. Then we've got the Grail Knight. So this is romance, illusion, and seeking the sacred. Draw a card on that. We've got the King of Cups. And I always think of the King of Cups as being at a place of being in readiness to unite the divine masculine with the divine feminine. In other words, the divine masculine energy is ready for commitment in spiritual matters, in love, and ready for that kind of unconditional love situation, which is, I think, the true meaning of romance. And we can see the Grail Knight, right? It's like a proposal. It's like a marriage card. And with the Knight, with the King of Cups, that's also a marriage card. That's, somebody that's at a place where they're ready for that kind of high level of commitment with another being. Okay, then we've got partnership. Wow. That kind of goes with this, what we just read. And this is like a new beginning for them. Like they've kind of, people are they've achieved that level of growth and they're ready to give birth to it. And they're connecting with the universe, delegating authority, so it's not all coming from them. They have to, it's like an equity thing where it's reciprocity exists in the connection. And then we've got, the ready for commitment thing. And now we've got partnership, and this is with the Fool. So now I think we're ready to actually move into this connection with our soulmate. And then we've got truth and the Four of Pentacles. So I think there we experience the truth of foundation on, as a human being, as, the truth of being, being that duality, spirit and matter, as being human. And that's what the foundation that we're now building on is. We've actually cemented that truth because we've got our, spirit connection, our partnership with that. And now I think that's our new foundation. And we've got the Wasp, anger, retaliation, and jealousy. And then we got the Two of Swords. So I think, I'm just going to draw one more card on that because I have a feeling. Right. So I think that this gives us a choice now, knowing that if we kind of, before we encountered this level of truth and this level of connection, we were kind of, at the mercy of not having a lot of options. We had to choose, to choose our partners, but we're choosing it with our mind more, and that's what the swords are. And that was really hard to do because, it wasn't in connection with the universe. So obviously, at that level, I always think of Midsummer Night's Dream when the gods had to intervene because people always made the wrong choices, right? And that's what I think here is what is going on here. So with the introduction and the readiness for soulmate, it's kind of the end of that because it's being replaced by the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups, I kind of see that now, kind of like the Grail Knight, where, the nobility of the combination of love and matter, because this is a male card, but it's still a cup card. So with that is coming into our lives now. And so we're no longer having to choose and at the mercy of only having the choices that we think we have, that exist only on a material plane, because we have swords here. Okay, because then that's kind of low energy, that's low vibration, and that's where anger, retaliation, and jealousy come in, because that's operating on our lowest vibration here. Whereas what we're moving into with the truth, partnership, and all, we're moving into a much higher connection and vibration. Then we've got disruption, and we've got the Star and Hangman. So what has happened here, and I think the disruption is kind of like, when it happens, because it's got a lightning bolt here too on the disruption card, and then it's got like it's got a waterfall. So the emotions are just like, our passion and our sacred energy is just like, it's like a dam got released. And that's what I think has happened with the Star too, because it is the Star, it's kind of how it leads, sailors, if they follow the North Star or whatever, and how they found, Christ by following the stars. And it's the same thing. The stars have taken us to this level of connection and partnership, and therefore really changed us in a major way, which is part of the disruption as well. So it's disrupted our, where we were going before with the Two of Swords and the, this kind of connection. And now this has brought in a whole different level with the Knight of Cups showing up. And it's really about disrupting our perception and the path that we were on. So it's stopped things, and then shifted things, and now we're being guided by the star, which wasn't happening before. So we kind of had to have that disruption. We had to have an end of the old way of being in the world where we weren't in connection with the universe, an end of that and a beginning of this. And that's where I see the Fool starting here. Then we've got restriction. Okay, let's see what happens here. So we've got the Knight of Swords and the Four of Swords. So I think what's become really clear with restriction is there's only one path that leads to this truth, and that's our true path. So it's not like we can go off and veer off on any path in life and then anticipate, being connected with our soulmate, or being introduced, or whatever you want to call that, being reunited, I guess would be a good word. So we're not reunited with our soulmate on any other path other than our true path. And that's, I think, what the Knight of Swords and the Four of Swords is about, is that kind of focus and clarity, and kind of looking at the past and realizing that, kind of getting this knowledge, this information, because we got the Four of Swords here given to us, that, there is only one path, okay? And it is our true path. And so it's very restrictive. The High Priestess, we've got discernment, prophecy, and vision. So this is intuition again. This is the High Priestess over here, and now it's showing up again here. And it's with the Queen of Pentacles and the Magician. So having the Queen of Pentacles moves back up here, right, with the Burden card and the Empress and the Four of Pentacles. So really now, having created that foundation, that back here it was being created by, the connection and the trust. And so what it's moved on to now is that intuitively now we know that now that we have created that solid foundation, from this place now we can manifest. Now we can, because we got the Alchemist, which is the Magician. So we have to get to that solid place, as I say, where we feel confident. You've got the Queen of Pentacles, which once again is the balance of the divine masculine and feminine together, to build something really amazing out of this. And that's holding the Pentacles, is holding the kind of the key to knowledge. And I think that's the knowledge. We're together now. The alchemy is much greater, and therefore now we can move into building something really, that why we were probably here in the first place, like completing our mission. Then I've got the Dog. So this is about loyalty, sincerity, and unconditional love. Okay, I'm just going to draw a card now. We've got the Burden card, the Ten of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. So now I think, remember back here we were looking for a place to build that foundation and the burden, and kind of a place to put our, what do you call it, stake. You know how you put a stake in if you find the right property that you're going to build your house on? Well, I think this is what this is about. Is now you found, and the Ace of Swords is the stake that we're putting there, because the Ace of Swords represents, going back to the Truth card, which we had here. So going back to the Truth card, so the Ace of Swords is zeroing in on the truth. It's the voice of truth. It's higher truth. It's catalyst. It's the beginning of, now we found the place that we're going to, this is it. This is now, from here we can launch out, which is kind of what the alchemy was about too. And in this place of unconditional love and loyalty, it is the perfect environment upon which now we can, with this energies combined, the yin yang energies, we can actually, create our masterpiece and put it out into the world. Because then we've got the Swan, and this is about transformation and trusting the psychic gifts. Okay, and then I've got the Seven of Pentacles. So once again, this is really the next step in building, not just this is the tree of knowledge, okay? So in building the tree of knowledge, this is a big step. So getting to this place is now in readiment for trusting the psychic gifts and adding those psychic gifts to the tree of knowledge that you have been building, and now together, because the transformation is there, it's a much greater opportunity to put, like I said back here, it's the perfect environment to then put the psychic gifts and add that to this, the tree of knowledge there. And then we've got the serpent, and we've got the Emperor, and the Knight of Wands. So the serpent is about healing and knowledge. So we've got the tree of knowledge here. We're adding to it. We're taking that knowledge up here, and we're using it for healing, because the Emperor, which is the divine masculine energy, is represents the world, and we're putting our healing into the world. Okay, this is kind of like the ultimate divine masculine in a worldly way. So we are healing the world, which is a masculine entity, because it's building, it's institutions, so that kind of world. I don't mean the world in terms of the spiritual world, I mean the world in terms of the material world. And that's what we're ultimately going to be moving towards as a Knight of Wands. Because remember, we had the Holy Grail back here too, the Grail Knight. So I think that's our mission. I think that's the mission here for soulmates, to come together, and then coming together, creating that, bringing the psychic gifts into the tree of knowledge, and then using that knowledge to then heal the the material world. And I feel like that's our mission here. Then we've got the King showing up here, and this is authority, male sexual energy, and things pertaining to the law and justice. So once again, going back to the Emperor here. So this is about the material world, and this is about strength and the Five of Wands. So being able to have the strength over fear, because if we're afraid of, if the material world intimidates us, or we're kind of afraid to put our energies out there because we don't feel strong enough to stand up to it and stand up for what we believe in, because we think we're alone in this at one point, until we connect with our soulmate, and therefore connect with our psychic gifts and with God. Now we have true strength. Now we can actually, bring that into the world in a very harmonious way, right? It's like a gentle way. This is like a dance, the Five of Wands. So I believe that now with that knowledge and that, growth and stuff, we can inspire people to then take this and use it for how they're going to use it, okay, in their growth. And we've got the Frog, so it's about cleaning house and releasing the emotional baggage, right? So it's about letting go, and because this is the beginning of the new cycle now, not just, as I say, for you and your soulmate, but I believe what this is about is the healing now that's taking place in the world, because we've got the World card here. And like I say, it's about bringing it so that people in the world and the institutions in the world can be healed with the knowledge of justice, because we've got justice here. So healing, though, the law, healing the parameters of the sacred laws that have been now brought down to the planet, down to the human level, and then healing that. And in order for people to be able to do, ascend and evolve, they need to let go of things in their past that didn't work for themselves anymore. So letting go of old kind of psychic energy in their lives, letting go of pain and hurt and disappointments, and so that their cups, so their hearts can be refilled. Because if they have their heart full of things that are empty, like that, see the card, then it's not going to work. So there's no room, there'll be too much resistance, because there'll be competition between the old that wants to stay and the new that's trying to get in. And that's what cleaning house and releasing emotional baggage is about. Because as I say, this is a new cycle for the world, period. So it's really important for that healing and that letting go, for it to take place, because it has to happen, I believe, on a human level. And that's what I see. I see this as being, soulmates are ready to do the healing, to bring this in, to heal, and then people can then, actually evolve to their own destinies. Then we've got the Lady of the Lake. So this is absolute truth, courage, self-respect, and responsibility. Okay, then I've got the Page of Swords and the Hermit. So now I believe this is, because remember way back when we said soulmates can't come together until that restricted path, and they're on the path. Well, that's what I see happening here. So until they're on the path, and how they'll know they're on the path is because they will have self-respect, and they'll be in a situation to take on the responsibility. I always think of the word responsibility as the ability to respond. And so I think armed with, knowledge and healing and clarity, then they're also an ability to respond. And I think that's what, and so the path is now lit up by the soulmates, and the world is waiting. We've got the Page of Swords for the sign to then move into taking responsibility, and each person taking personal responsibility. So I can see soulmates kind of leading the way in a way that's going to end up bringing that kind of energy and that kind of, creating that kind of environment where everyone, people can do this. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that, and that's what we got today. So thanks for being with me, and yeah, lots to ponder for me here, and I hope there is for you too. Okay, thank you.